Okay, so you're scrolling through your feed, right? And you see it everywhere. The amazing European vacation, that picture-perfect brunch, the new tech unboxing. I mean, the pressure to live that life it's real. But you know it's also real? The financial anxiety that just kind of hangs over all of it. So let's just start with one number that shows exactly how real this is.
$94,101. Now, this isn't some salary goal or what you've got stashed in savings. No. This number is what's hanging over so many of our heads. It's the average debt for a member of Gen Z right now.
And here's what makes that number even crazier. Historically, no other generation has ever faced this much debt at this point in their lives. Ever.
So you got to ask, where is all this debt coming from? Well, the number one source, the thing that makes up more than half of that total, is credit cards. It's so easy to hear these numbers and just feel defeated, like you're already losing the game before you've even started. We're always told that debt is the enemy, right? A trap you have to avoid at all costs. But what if that's only half the story? What if some debt is actually a tool to make you richer, while other debt is a trap that's literally designed to keep you poor? In this explainer, we're going to decode that difference. So first, let's just sit with this for a second. Let's have a reality check about this $94,000 problem.
Which brings us to the big question, the one that really matters. Is the debt you take on a tool or is it a trap? And honestly, the answer completely depends on what kind of debt we're talking about.
So let's break it down. Because getting this next part right is probably the single most important step you can take to get real financial control.
Okay, so on one side, you've got productive debt. Think of this as leverage. It's used to buy assets, things that can grow in value or even generate an income for you. You know, like a student loan for a degree that leads to a higher-paying job, or a mortgage for a house. Then on the other side, you've got destructive debt. This is the trap. It pays for stuff that loses value or just, poof, disappears, like that vacation, concert tickets, a fancy dinner out. You see the difference? One is an investment in your future. The other is just borrowing from it.
Let's start with the trap, because you have to understand how it works. The system behind this destructive debt, well, it isn't broken. It's actually engineered to work exactly the way it does. And spoiler alert, it's not always on your side.
Take a look at this number, 24%. That is the average APR, the interest rate, on a credit card today. I mean, to put that in perspective for you, it's more than 3 times the rate you'd typically get on a mortgage. This isn't just a small fee, it's the incredibly high price you pay for convenience.
And here is the secret engine that makes that 24% so dangerous. Daily compounding interest. See, it's not just that the rate is high, it's that the interest is calculated every single day. So you're not just paying interest on what you originally borrowed, you're paying interest on top of your interest. It's a debt snowball that just gets bigger and bigger as it rolls downhill. This right here is why the minimum payment is basically a myth. For a $5,000 balance on a card, if you only make that minimum payment, you could still be paying it off 20 years from now. Let that sink in. The minimum payment isn't there to help you get out of debt. It's designed to keep you in debt for as long as humanly possible.
So let's really put them head to head. The purpose, a mortgage buys you a house, an asset that hopefully goes up in value. A credit card, it usually buys stuff that immediately goes down in value. Rate and mechanics. One has a pretty low, simple interest rate. The other has a sky-high rate that compounds every single day. But the wealth effect, this is the most important part. One builds your equity, your net worth. The other just drains your income with interest payments. The long-term outcome couldn't be more different. Ownership versus the trap.
All right, now before you get all excited and run out to apply for a mortgage, we need to have a serious reality check. Because so-called good debt is not some magic bullet.
Nearly half of all Gen Z homebuyers say they have regrets, and it almost always comes down to costs they just didn't see coming. I mean, beyond that mortgage payment, you've got property taxes, you've got insurance, maybe even HOA fees. But the real wild card? Maintenance. A new roof can set you back 10 grand or more, easy. And you've got to remember market risk. If prices fall, you could end up owing more than your house is even worth. Good debt is only good if you're truly prepared for the total cost.
Now, this doesn't mean credit cards are pure evil. Actually, you kind of need one to build up a good credit score. The key is this one simple mindset shift. Treat your credit card like a debit card. It's that simple. Never, ever charge more than you actually have in the bank and then pay the entire balance in full every single month. That way, you get all the awesome credit-building perks without paying a single penny in interest.
Okay, we have covered the theory, we know the difference between a tool and a trap, so now it's time to get practical. Here is your 3-step action plan to actually take control of this thing.
The blueprint is pretty simple, and it's logical. Step 1. We're going to build a solid credit foundation. Step 2. We'll escape any of those high-interest debt traps you might be in. And finally, Step 3. We're going to plan ahead to use productive debt in a smart way. Let's break down each one.
First up, Step 1, build your credit. A good score is basically your passport to better financial tools. We're talking lower interest rates on car loans, on mortgages, the whole shebang. If you're just starting out, a student card or a secured card, where you put down a small deposit, is a fantastic first move. Now, there are 2 golden rules that make up most of your score, and they are non-negotiable. First, pay every bill on time, every time. One late payment can seriously hurt your score. Second, keep your credit utilization. That's how much you owe versus your total limit, below 30%. Nail those 2 habits and you're on your way.
Now, if you're already in debt, your number one priority is to escape. There are 2 really solid proven methods. You've got the debt avalanche, where you attack the debt with the highest interest rate first. Mathematically, this is the best way. It'll save you the most money. Then you've got the debt snowball. Here, you focus on the smallest balance first. This one is really powerful psychologically because you get these quick wins that build momentum and keep you motivated. So which one's better? Honestly, the best method is the one you will actually stick with.
And that brings us to Step 3. Plan for productive debt. This really means you need to master one key metric, your debt-to-income ratio, or DTI. It's just a fancy way of saying your total monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. That's it. Lenders look at this number and they really want to see it below 36%. Managing your DTI is that final step to prove you're ready to use debt as the powerful tool it can be. So let's just bring it all home. This whole system, it can feel really confusing, but it's not random. It runs on a clear set of rules. And now you know those rules. You know the difference between a tool that builds your wealth and a trap that just drains it away.
You have the blueprint. You know the rules of the game now. So the only question left is, what's your first move going to be?